All right, so I accidentally hit stop on the recording. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to where I left off, which was about 13 minutes in on the voiceover part, which at this point I've played. Let's see what songs I've played. I did a 4 minute and 54 second, 2 minute 51 second, 4 minute 44 second, 5 minutes 25 seconds. So at this point, we're about 5, 10, 15, 20. 35 in or whatever. Okay, so I have two more artists to present before the radio show itself is actually done. So here we go. Going to wait about 1 minute closer so I know where to cut that out when I make the pre-recorded show. Next up, I'd like to feature another artist that's been with me since the beginning. But first, let's change the topic a bit as we are a tad bit ahead of schedule. I still have two more featured artists for the show that I'd like to present. But at this moment, since this is also a blog, it's most likely a talk show. I was blessed with the gift of gab, and I have a lot to share. I wish I could go onto Facebook Live or have someone call in with a topic they'd like to discuss. I think that'd be fun. But, I'd like to keep them somewhat art related, or in this case, music related to what is the local scene. I'd like to hear your questions, concerns, whatever. However, this show particularly is pre recorded. Plus, I've had tons of interruptions, tons of failures, tons of retries. I mean, everything over and over and over again has kind of just put me over the top a little bit. One of the main topics that I like to discuss right now is music dead? Is the music scene, how is it in your town? Find me again on Facebook. I'd like to discuss this a little further on the next show, honestly. The discussion can be found at Homegrown Promotions under Homegrown Radio Group. And it is a discussion group that is based solely on all the other radio shows that I do. So any kind of topics that come up. Just this one particularly is Audio Caves Underground Sounds. And that's why it is being featured at 88.3 FM out of Little Rock. I try not to, first of all, I definitely don't want to cuss. I don't want any cussing. I try to avoid certain songs that tend to get played a lot or music that you've heard before. I really want this to be all about the artists in the area, and it doesn't have to be just music related. Again, if they like the show and everything goes well, and if the vlog starts picking up and other endeavors related to this one particular video that this is going to turn into, I would really like to bring in more co-hosts. And again, I think it'd be fun to bring in a band and then not talk about the band, find fun topics to work on, not just your typical, so how did you get started kind of questions. I think it'd be fun. And I say we need that in this Little Rock area. And that's why I'm presenting the show particularly to the program manager. But this is also the first show for my podcast and for streaming. And so I built that website by myself. I did everything by myself. And so I've constantly had a lot of hang-ups, a lot of learning, a lot of YouTube channels, and a lot of how-tos, and a lot of book readings, a lot of templates, a lot of not listening to any other podcasts. Though that's the one thing I don't, honestly, I'm just not the type of person that has that much interest in listening or following anything new. And I think that's a personal flaw of mine that this whole area tends to kind of fall under. I don't know if it's just that I don't know if we're just stuck in our ways or if we've heard the band, maybe we find it more intriguing to be able to follow them. So again, if you're coming to the area and would like your music to be premiered to the Little Rock following, please send in your stuff. This will air. If they like the show, this will be the show that I play on the first day. So go ahead and send your stuff. If not, um, since this is more of an international radio station as well, go ahead and get excited. Send me what you got. And of course, it's going to be only premiered to the few people that I know starting off. I'll be totally honest, but I think it's going to be kind of like that anywhere you go, especially if you're doing a show for the first time and you're coming into an audience that has never heard of you. You're only going to have maybe 5 or 10 people show up that were probably already planning on going there anyway. And I kind of want to break that habit. I want to break that mold, make it available for other bands to share and be proud that, hey, this radio station premiered my music. And I've enjoyed making, electronic press kits for some of the bands. I do a lot of booking, but really in the end, this is my passion. Just helping, helping grow. That's really what I look forward to. And health and music do go hand in hand. And so, one of these days we'll talk about music therapy. I'm sure of it. And I'd like to, bring in anybody who's ever had music practice heal them. I'm one of those, and we'll save that story for that day. I have, experienced a lot of miracles with music, and music has changed my life. This has been, an experiment for me, more or less, trying this radio show. I mean, I hope it works out. I'm gonna keep trying to get it out to more people. What the music scene has become, so we can collectively try again to bring it back. I don't know if it all died when MTV started playing, the real life shows, and I don't know what changed. I don't know when. I just remember I used to be able to go to shows locally, then they would be packed every night, and it didn't matter if it was Tuesday night, like at the Afterthought, or if it was Saturday night at Discovery, or if it was a Thursday night at Stick It in Your Ear all the way up in Springfield. If it was music related, there were people there, and there was tons of people there, and you had to wait in line to get your drinks or your tickets. And nowadays, from what I've seen, it's basically other bands that are going to other shows. And when all the bands all have gigs on the same night, nobody shows up. And so, for anybody's shows. And that's what I've seen here. Now, that's not limited to that. That's only limited to the people that I know, and that doesn't necessarily mean that this show is going to be limited to the people I know. I don't want it to be like that. I know that there are a lot of talented musicians in this area that I would love to feature. Talent. This place is full of talent. It's almost saturated with it, and there's just not like the following or the audience. And I wish you could call in right now and talk to me and give me your thoughts on that. And I'm sure down the road, uh, we'll just let this one kind of air. Again, you can find me personally via Facebook. That would be Homegrown Promotions, uh, which is, like I said, based out of Conway. But we'll get there. We will have our talks. We'll have our groups. We'll have our love. And as we grow, you'll grow. And as you grow, we grow. And that's how I intend this show to do. Again, Audio Cave, very lucky to have them as a sponsor. It's a recording studio out of Kansas City. I got RFB Audio out of Nashville, and he is a freelance engineer, and so he works a lot of big, big, big shows. I've been blessed with the ability to make tons of friends and meet tons of people. So I'm not really going to be starving for content, but I do want to know more, and I want to hear what you want to hear. Again, I'm not too concerned with quality right now. I mean, if it's a home recording, as long as we can understand what you're saying and it's not a lot of cussing and it's not a lot of loud, noisy stuff, I'm pretty sure the FM station's going to be just fine with that. Otherwise, if he doesn't take it, that's fine, because we're gonna go international anyway, baby. And I'm taking y'all with me, and then we'll do the death metal if we have to. I mean, I'll do anything though. I love bluegrass. I love gospel. I love um, rock, particularly more, only because that is the genre of people that I know. Again, I'm not limited, and I don't expect anybody else to be as well. I want original, unique content, and I want to present it to people that are just kind of wanting to be ambitious themselves, really. That's what I'm hoping to do is to bring some inspiration and some light and some love onto the world. So with that said, Mikhail is actually out of Southern California, the LA area to be exact. He is an up and coming artist as well, tends to stray more on the Irish side of things. So very cool genre of music to explore is the old folk Irish style music. This song that I have presented by him is called Settle Down. It is an acoustic version. I did rip it off of one of his videos with his permission, of course. I mean, I talked to all these people before I played. I made sure that before I premiered their music, that if there was anything up and coming that they wanted me to discuss, then to let me know. And so with him, though, I believe we're all still in the works. I know that he plays a lot at Galahans there, and oh goodness, I know right where it's at. The beach. Um, and I don't think it's Santa Monica. I don't think that's the Gallagher's bar that he plays at, but there's another McGallagher's or something. I didn't do a lot of research on Mikhail, but he has been there for me and from me and with me uh, since I started this. I had moved back to Little Rock and was working at a country radio station when he had caught wind of me and hit me up and asked for help with booking. And we kind of grew from there and grew together. And so I definitely want to give a shout out and make this show more towards the people that really helped bring it all together for me. So this is Mikhail, and this is the acoustic version of Settle Down. Thank you all for listening. Yeah, I hear a little bit of Irish in that. I've listened to that song a ton of times, though. It is definitely one that I enjoy just kind of sitting back. Same with Shaylin. I mean, same with Troy. Oh gosh, that's September Sky. I mean, I can't remember how many times I've put these guys in on a playlist and just let it play. And it kind of shifted through all of them. I mean, I have more bands to present. I have more bands that I've worked with. A lot of history here, but this one's dedicated to the people that were there from the beginning. Again, again, September Sky really wasn't there from the beginning. I do have other bands, like Driver out of Oklahoma City, so shout out to them. Um, Shout out to Void Shifter, a band that I used to play with out of Little Rock. Same with, um, even shout out to the X's and Vent. Woo! Yeah, that's one reason why I don't date musicians because it does cost me a good show every now and then. Probably won't be playing any of their music, but you know what? Shout out to them down in Pine Bluff anyway. Whoop whoop. All right. This is up and coming artist out of New York City. He goes by the name of Kore Rozik. Yeah, Korezzik. Also featured at Rocklahoma. This is a band that I was told to audition for. They were looking for a touring bassist. I didn't have the capabilities at the time to do that. But we did grow together and, make a good connection, I'd like to say. They're friends of mine now, and I've met most of the band, I guess 3 out of 4, and too bad for them being from New York City and me having never been to the New England area ever. So I want to go ahead and kind of close it out with them. Um, just to let you all know, again, my name is Cassandra. This is Audio Caves Underground Sounds, featured out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And then we also are presenting our blog and vlog for Homegrown Radio uh, out of wherever you want it to be out of your phone, out of your computer, most likely your car if you're listening on FM. So, thank you all for this opportunity. You've been a blessing. It's been great presenting this show in such a manner that hopefully I did it respectfully enough for everybody to enjoy and listen all the way through. Again, one last little final thank you to everybody that helped make it possible, and that means you, the listener. Love you guys. Let's focus on just growing and growing together, and let's make it all about the artist and the art again. And let's bring the people back to their roots. So thank you guys for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. Stay tuned in. That's all I can say. Tune in. The universe is calling. So y'all have a good night.